You're watching IKTV Channel 45 on your Carib Cable Network. This is Unrendered. I'm Tony Regisford, and I'm chatting with Mrs. Anesia Baptiste. We're into our final segment on this edition. Anesia,
yes.
You know, I wish we had another hour to continue this discussion. I'm enjoying it so much.
Okay.
Carnival.
Okay.
What are your views on Carnival? Is it something that a DRP government would tolerate in its current form or disbanding it altogether? What are your views? Is it too much of the flesh, too much lewdness, or do you see the cultural expression side of it?
Well, first of all, when the DRP was announced again, we identified 10 policy areas, not exhaustive, that we would pursue. And one of them was the development of entertainment, arts and culture in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and that includes Vincy Mas.
Right.
The fact of the matter is the DRP recognizes that Carnival or Vincy Mas is a social institution. And nowhere are we on record, nowhere am I as founder of this party on record anywhere saying that I would ban Carnival or that I would do away with it. It's a social institution of the country, and it is not something that the DRP will interfere with in terms of banning it.
Would you put a lot of energy into making sure that the festival continues and, you know, as they say, this outlet of expression for art and culture, would you enable it?
Yes,
by your
because we
policies?
said that. Yes, we said that we would seek to develop the arts, entertainment, and culture, right? So in harmony with what is there already and what the relevant institutions like the CDC would like to see and so on, the DRP government will pursue that. That is not something that we would interfere with. It's a social institution that is a part of the country, accepted by the people, and it will be allowed to thrive as every other social institution that is good for the country's development. You see, the point is, again, it is not a church I am governing. It is a country. It is a government. And I recognize that in this country and in this government, there are different kinds of people with different values and different views, and the important thing is to protect their rights and freedoms. Who wants to play Carnival, play Carnival. Who doesn't want to play it, don't play it. Who wants to talk for it, talk for it. The preachers who want to preach against it, preach against it. As long as everybody is free to do what they want that is in harmony with the law, let it be. I'm not interfering with the People's Carnival. I never said that the DRP would do that.
What are your views on the controversial, albeit social issue, homosexuality I'm going to talk about, because the discourse is sketchy, you know. Some people are afraid to talk about it. But you have to admit, it's a topic that globally
Yes.
is gaining a lot of traction. In fact, I would dare say that the governments or the presidents that seek to be elected in the United States are actually judged on their views on that issue. What are your views?
Yes, I have heard those things. My views are the same as the positions outlined in the Criminal Code of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Cap 171, sections 146 to 148. It makes buggery an offense, punishable by law. And the DRP in government, our views will abide by these laws.
You're not going to change that
as
law?
the right position for St. Vincent and
Why
the
won't you
Grenadines.
change that law?
Because we believe that it is the right position for our country, for our country's health, for our country's social development, and we will leave it as is.
What about the issue of fornication? Because that is a sin, as decreed in the Bible, but it's not against the law.
No.
Why?
Neither is other things, adultery, etc.
So why is homosexuality singled out? Because the Bible deals with that as a sin, so too does it deal with fornication,
Well, homosexuality,
and adultery. So what?
Homosexuality is not the only thing. It's not singled out. Bestiality is also against the law. That's people going with animals.
Yes.
Incest is also against the law. Other sexual, immoral deviances which corrupt the morals of a society and so on, right? And would cause its deterioration morally and otherwise. Because I talked about the health of the country. You know, in a recent HIV/AIDS conference in 2012, it was shown by scientists that despite the number of efforts that are being made to educate those who practice homosexuality or sodomy in terms of health issues and health risks, etc., they still are the greatest at risk of contracting HIV/AIDS. And the scientists tell you that it is because of the nature of the sex that they have. They say that there's a certain percentage greater risk of contracting the virus via anal sex.
But the statistics show, though,
and this is recent stuff coming out from not religious people, enthusiasts, but scientists in the HIV/AIDS conference 2012. That's just last year.
That's fair enough.
So, I mean,
but
we have to look at the...
Statistics show, though, that the highest prevalence of AIDS, while the homosexual group is more at risk, statistics show that the prevalence of AIDS is highest among heterosexuals.
That is not true. Not from the recent statistics that I have read.
Those are the statistics
but
that I see.
But you see, not from the recent statistics that I have read. But the point is, right, and I made some points with respect to the issue of the degradation of the morality of the people and so on. The point about it is, we are not the ones bringing a law to ban homosexuality. It's there already. We believe it is the right position for our country to have.
It's just comfortable for you because it's there.
And we will stick to it, right? But I really want to say, too, that that really is not the issue so much in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I mean, the problem in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is not whether a man should marry a man or a woman should marry a woman. It's about jobs. It's about people needing jobs. It's about people needing help with
those are economic issues.
So my point is that while I appreciate that you have to ask me these things, my point that I want to stress is that I know, and I'm saying this, Tony, I know that largely it is my detractors and the propagandists who want to try to stir up controversy around these kind of questions where I'm concerned because they know I'm a Christian and they figure, well, she can't run country because she's going to make her Christian views interfere.
Well,
but I will focus on the things that the people out there are telling me they need.
Right.
And I know that the issue is not so much homosexuality.
I must tell you, though, I dare say that if I brought Gonzalez, Eustace, Lois, Leacock, Francis, you name it, all the political players, and I asked them that same question, I don't think I'll get a different answer than the one you've given me. So, so I don't think any of you are different.
But have you
with
asked them? Have you asked them?
I have asked Linton Lewis that question.
Okay. I make the point because I'm not saying it's you so much. It's not you, but I'm talking about what I know. And the issue is, when they do that, I tend to tell myself, well, look, that's not really the issue. The issue is these
search
things,
with you, though,
jobs.
My search with you, though, is that you are a new...
stamping out corruption.
And that's fine.
You know?
And those are issues that you must
fight.
But
we'll stick to the law.
But my search with you, though, is that you're a new party, you're a young person, you're 33 years of age, and I'm just trying to search to see where your views on these trending issues. They may not be trending in St. Vincent just yet. They will, because what happens north comes south, you know, and so that's my search with you. But let's just move on to in the dying segments of this program, in dying moments of this segment. Let's just move on to the composition of a DRP. What is the ideal? First of all, are you going to field 15 candidates in the next election?
It is our intention to field 15 candidates.
Are you making a lot of progress along this way?
We are making progress, yes. We are talking to persons and we are working on it. And over time, gradually, more would be said on this matter to the public. Yes.
What is the ideal composition you're looking for? Give me that. I mean, are we going to see young faces? Do you think people are tired of an old script? You brought up the whole thing about dynasty. I would go further and say it may not just be a problem of dynasty, but it may be a problem of the same old khaki pants as Ken Boy did in his outing when he had the I can't even remember the name of his party. But what is the DRP going to bring to the table? What are the kind of faces we're going to see?
Well, I want to say first of all that our emphasis would be on the values of the people, meaning that I want to know that my team respects the rights and freedoms of all of the people. This is so very important to me. I don't want to go there and do the same thing or have the same things being done that we're seeing today that is hurting our people. So one type of people generally is what you will see among us, and you will see persons with rights and freedoms who equally respect their fellow men's rights and freedoms. And we will try to have a team that is balanced, and by that I mean females or women, men, and youth, right? We will not discriminate against a person for either reason though. So in other words, I'm not just going to try to get up, let's say, a group of women because they are women. Right. You understand? Or a group of
you're not going to say, I'm too old to join your party.
Precisely. Right? So you can expect to see that kind of balance if we can find those persons, because I'm interested in showing that kind of balance and in giving the opportunity and encouraging also the coming forward of persons who are not traditionally in a large way involved, like women, for example. And I'm not just talking about at the level where they help to canvass votes and they do a lot of activities in the party, but where they are there as leaders themselves, women leaders and men and young people. Because believe it or not, Tony, we have a lot of young people in our country who are not thinking the traditional way of old loyalties, which they are interested in perpetuating, but who are really concerned about our future and really would like to see St. Vincent and the Grenadines move forward in a mature way. And they're prepared and ready to bring to the table the experiences that they've gained from overseas studying, the experiences that they would just like to see St. Vincent different.
Are you satisfied that you are harnessing that, though? Are you satisfied that you're being a catalyst for change? Because I hear you, you know, and I have to say, I'm in sympathy with what you're saying. And I really do believe that there is time for a new script. And it's difficult for traditional parties that are grounded in a lot of history to rewrite the script as much as they think they can, you know. So here's an opportunity for fresh, young, bright blood to do just that. But are you satisfied that you're gaining traction?
Yes. My example, and one that I would like to see my party continue with, has a lot to do with my style of politics, my on-the-ground attitude, my attitude of being one with the people. I don't believe in this sitting on a high chair, traveling, you know, just enjoying the benefits of the so-called high life of being a minister or a cabinet member, and the people on the ground can't feel you. My ministers won't be afraid to put their hands in the dirt, really be seen with the people and be in representation all of the time, not just when elections is around the corner and you want some votes, but where people can really count on you. The common man, the average man who doesn't have a certain number of
Anesia,
subjects or whatever.
Let's be fair. I mean, I know we are at the dying moments of this program here, but let's take a Saboto Caesar, or let me look for another example in the NDP. You know, let's take a Patel Matthews maybe, right? Are those people not getting their hands in the dirt, literally? I mean, and they're practical, down-to-earth people. Don't you think that? My point is, don't you think that
Tony,
those
both
parties
are failing in that area? I am not going to so-called pull out one person or this person or whatever. The point is, when you listen to the people on the ground, that is what they are saying. These people, they work with you, then when election time comes, is when they come look for you, and then after election, they forget you. Or they don't want to come and do this, or you're trying to get them in the office, you're trying to get them on the phone or whatever, and you can't get them. This is what the people are saying. This is the fact, and I am saying that is not corrected overnight, true. But if you develop the culture from the beginning, and if you look at my work, you will see that I am out there all the time. Even right after when I was with the NDP, right after we lost the election, when I started that TV program, that wasn't an initiative of the NDP. That was an initiative of Anesia Baptiste, and Anesia Baptiste got funding for that program, if you should know, right? So the point of the matter is,
don't you think
the culture, the
part
practice.
of what you're doing with that program was maybe the beginning of the disassociation with the
I don't
leadership
think
of the
so.
NDP?
A lot of people from the NDP loved it because they
but
thought
what about
that
the
it
internal
helped
leadership
the
of the party?
Well, I don't
Well, in
think
concert with what you're doing.
I got some support from one or two persons whom I invited to be on the program themselves, but large scale, the support wasn't there. It wasn't there as it should have been. Because in fact, some of the things that I did, I was more or less chided for it because I was told essentially, you can't help everybody, and if you help this one, other people will want, etc. And
But
I thought that was
more
nonsense.
so, you're within an organization that may have felt that you were trying to be the bright star. And,
but look,
and maybe I shouldn't use the word
if
star, but you were
if
trying
an
to be the bright
organization
person.
cannot tell the difference
Yes.
between its assets and its liabilities, then it is not fit for governance, and it is not ready to lead a people.
Let me
we can't
ask
be
you.
caught up with those petty jealousies and
Yes.
feeling threatened, etc. When we have a country to move forward and you have people who are doing that, encourage them, support them.
Let me
And this
ask
is why
you.
I'm saying the DRP will be different. The issue of political victimization is a big issue for me too. And it's something I intend by my own example. And when you see the work I'm doing, I don't ask who are you. I don't ask which religion are you, as some people like to think. I don't ask which party you support. It's about your need. And my heart is really touched when I see the kind of situation some people are in. And if I can help, I help. And don't tell me you're in opposition, you can't do this, you can't do that. Find ways to get things done. That is what leadership is about. Being creative, being able to inspire people to come forward and get things done. And this is the attitude of the DRP, and this is what we will do in terms of changing the political landscape of the country.
Final question, Anesia.
Yes.
Let's look at a hypothetical situation. I know you don't like those, but I need to know how you're thinking.
Okay.
2015, there's a general election. Let's say there's one in 2015. And the DRP contests, and they manage to get a couple of the seats. But guess what? You are now a power broker. You can determine which mass party forms the government, the NDP or the ULP, depending on where you shift your support. What would you do?
When that time comes, if that time comes, meaning if it turns out like that, I would have to determine then. The fact of the matter is, we live in a world, and we can see it in the region and in other places, where coalitions are not impossible, and coalitions have taken place, and they do take place. So if you're asking me generally if I would be willing to form a coalition, would you be in a position
to mend your differences with, with Mr. Eustace?
Mr. Eustace.
Assuming he is still the leader.
Right. Would I be in a position to mend my ways with Mr. Eustace? That's your question? Could
you mend your, in a hypothetical situation like that, where he now needs your 2-3 seats?
I think that question should be posed to Mr. Eustace, because I did not part ways with him. He did with me. He rejected me from his communion. And so the initiative to mend ways is really, it's not an issue for me. I didn't part ways with him. But if you're asking if the DRP would be willing to work with a coalition, obviously.
Whether the ULP or the NDP, that's what you're saying.
We will see what happens when that time comes, if it comes. And I say if. Because don't take your eyes off what has happened in the Caribbean, and don't tell yourself that it is impossible for a DRP to take governance in St. Vincent
and I'm sure that is what you desire.
That is what we will be working towards.
Anesia, it's been a great pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
And I'm going to welcome you back here on this program.
I look forward very much
sometime down the road.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for coming. This has been another edition of Unrendered. My guest was the very dynamic Mrs. Anesia Baptiste. She's the leader of the Democratic Republican Party and a past senator in the NDP opposition in Parliament. Jomo Thomas is up next with Plain Talk.